Hey, dang it. Welcome to another edition of the Purpose of Brothers of Legacy. Not Purpose, because I'm just looking at the logo. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you for rocking with us. I appreciate you guys. Let's see. We're having an echo. So I appreciate you guys rocking and hanging with us. Another edition of the Brothers of Legacy. We're going to have a great week. We're going to be here all week. We wasn't there all week last week. So yeah, definitely appreciate you guys being a part, checking us out, and taking care of business. Listen, what I need you to do first is share. Sharing is caring. If you feel like you're missing some of our notifications, text LW into 84576. Text LW into 84576. Never miss a broadcast. Make sure you check us out tonight. Purpose for Forever. We are going to have a great discussion, couple discussion like we always do. So if you don't feel like you might miss that broadcast, make sure you text us LW into 84576. Yeah, I think that's it. Again, hey, Lisa, thank you for rocking and hanging with us. Make sure you share. Sharing is caring. Sharing is caring. We're gonna have a great week. Right. She says, I care, therefore I share. That's awesome. So yeah, like I said, make sure you are sharing. If you're watching this on replay, I appreciate you. Make sure you're subscribed. If you're in the YouTube space, hit the thumbs up. Make sure you hit that as well. If you're in the Facebook space, make sure you are liking and sharing and commenting and all that good stuff. Be a part of the conversation. We don't want spectators. We need participators. So that's all. All right. So we're going to have a great conversation today. We are talking about spliggity splow. We're talking about our boys raised to be husbands. We teach our ladies on how to be in relationships, how to keep a home and all that great stuff. But are we teaching our boys the same thing? We're going to get into that conversation. It may just be me. I got to see if Pastor will be rolling through. And that is it. That is all. All right, let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and kick this off. We'll be right back after this intro. I want to welcome you to the Brothers of Legacy broadcast, where we are changing our community one conversation at a time, every day.
We are creating a new legacy. Change gon' come. 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 A co-op has to start with ownership. Right. We have a mindset of either I want to make a lot of money or survive. Make a bunch of money or I got to figure out how to survive.
When you have a real bond, when everyone has, we come in with real expectations. Mm-hmm. Because this is covenant.
The whole premise is that we as a people, with our money and time, aren't often making this general possible, often vested in the legacy.
All right. Apologize, guys, having some technical difficulties. It's just a Monday, That's what we do. All right. Cameron. Oh, all right. Okay, I can't fix it. All right, let's go here. Let's go here. All right, let's see. It's not working. Oh, boom. All right, guys, we're back. We're back. We're back. Why is this so loud? Why is this so loud? Turn this down a little bit. All right, let's get Pastor in here because we're having a rough day today. Good morning, Pastor.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, family.
Oh,
Happy
I can't
Monday
hear
to
you.
everybody.
That's awesome. Wonderful. Unmute site.
Morning, Lisa.
All right, there we go. Pastor.
Good morning.
All right. All right.
Oh, you couldn't hear me before?
No, it was all me.
Okay.
It's one of them days. Okay. It's one of the mornings that, things ain't, I was trying to get things to work the way I wanted to work. It's not working the way
I think I
wanted
got
to
the
work.
wrong microphone active. Can you hear me better now?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Good morning, Rollins.
Morning, D. Hey, are you guys back in Georgia or are you still in Mississippi?
I think they all right.
Not that I'm trying to tell the world your location.
Right. Right. You're not home yet? Where you living? I was just thinking that too. All right. So today we're talking about our boys raised to be husbands. I think we probably talked about this months and months ago. But it's always fantabulous to revisit. She said, okay, we're back and at work. No more vacay. No more vacay. Oh, so yeah, we're again, we appreciate you guys being here, rocking with us. You're rocking with the Brothers of Legacy. We don't stand out, we stand up. So today, like I said, we are talking about our boys raised to be husbands. Make sure you share. Sharing is caring. If you feel like you're missing any notifications, spliggity splow, that connect with us. Text LWN to 84576. Text LWN to 84576. Never miss a broadcast. All right. So today, like I said, we're talking about our boys being raised.
Oh, I'm sorry. So they are back. I'm only asking because I, didn't get a confirmation that you made it back safely. Silly me. Thinking that I would be notified that you guys made it back home safely.
Pastor, it's okay. See, what happened
My
was
bad.
cell service.
I'm putting business in the street.
That's it. In the streets. In the streets. Oh man. Happy Monday, everybody. Happy Monday.
Everybody knows I'm a stalking pastor.
I ain't never going to his church. You calling folk. Who does that?
Monday morning call out.
Who does that?
My family, y'all. My family, man. You know I gotta know.
My bad. Sorry about that. So like I said, today. Let me do this. Hold on one second. Because on the podcast, all the gobbledygook, the dribbly jab, I try to avoid. So let's do this. We're gonna kick it off.
You're watching the Brothers of Legacy. We don't stand out. We stand up.
All right. Welcome to Brothers of Legacy. Why I keep saying Purposeful Forever? I don't even know. Brothers of Legacy. It's got way too much on my mind. Oh, very stalker-ish.
Love you too. Okay, right. My bad. I'm sorry. Back. I'm a distraction this morning.
We're back. But I know in your situation, Pastor, in your household, I know you talked about the way your mother kind of raised you guys to be like the men, that kind of she wanted to see, or like her like, I don't even know what I feel like I'm putting it wrong, but like kind of how, how she felt the man should be raised. Hey, Mama Corey, speaking of which, speaking of the mama, but were you
Hey, Mom.
like, were you kind of positioned to be husbands, you think, like in hindsight, or just more or less just to be men to to be able to take care of business kind of thing? I know you kind of led, you were kind of like the second in command in the household in a sense. But yeah, were you guys raised to be more men, or to be husbands, you think, or based on, what you grew up in hindsight and all that great stuff?
Well, just a point of clarity, I wasn't like that term second in command.
Right. I know, probably wrong.
I never had any power. It's just that somebody had to be responsible or accountable when she was gone.
Right.
And so it kind of ended up being me just because, and so when I
Gotcha.
look back on it, it was like, oh man, I was always left in charge,
Right.
But that's because of availability,
Okay. Okay.
Mark was just always gone. He was running hard. But my mom, I think it's more so my mother had a vision or perspective of what she thought real men should look like.
Oh, got you. Okay.
And so she tried to put a lot of those virtues, those values, those characteristics in us
Yeah.
as we were growing up.
Gotcha.
That's what she was trying to do, not trying to groom us for husbandry or husbandhood, whatever that term is, because it had nothing to do with being a husband. It had everything to do with being a man, a grown man.
Gotcha. Okay. Okay. That's interesting. Because I think about like myself. Yeah, I just, being is two boys in our household. I mean, I was kind of like grew. I've always talked this. I talked about. My brother's 10 years older, so we kind of like grew up separate in the sense. By the time I was a teenager, he was pretty much getting out of the house, going to college, and things of that nature. So there was the I remember like a maybe 2-year period of us bumping heads. Like me like around 9, 8-ish. When he's still in the household and stuff like that. But me just picking on him because he's my big brother, and I just want to get on your nerves because I ain't got nothing else to do. But as far as like the training, like for me was, just watching the responsibility piece, I think was more what I got taught, from seeing my dad and things of that nature, watching, their interaction. I mean, it wasn't really preparing me like as far as husbandly, kind of more or less pay your bills, take care of your house, go to work. like don't it's fun. We don't do fun. You take care of business, and you laugh in between kind of thing. But as far as direct lessons and things of that nature, never really having how to be a husband, if you have like relationship issues or whatever, but it's never like it was never like a direct training for me. Because I think about like my household now, we teach both. I feel like I'm teaching my son how to be a husband. I don't think we've never had like direct lessons, but I'm like taking care of mom and taking care of your sister, opening the door, like simple things, just to be aware of, like I said, walk the way you walk on the street, go with your sister, watch out for her, things of that nature, be aware of what's happening around. And I think he does a pretty decent job. There are the moments like they come in the house, I see him like, where's she at? Oh, she behind. Like she should be coming in the house first, kind of things. But I think it's just being more intentional about it, because I don't know if, as far as your household goes, I don't think we are biased in that fact. I think they get kind of like equal lessons. But traditionally it seems like women are taught to be the nurturer, to have the babies, the doll houses and the cute stuff, early on, where as far as men, we're kind of war and sports, like wrestle, anything that could attack the enemy kind of situations. Never the the nurture, which would be different, but never like how to be a husband, or other than the moments where if you have a boy that's around a bunch of girls, now it's like playing house or something, like because he's outnumbered, he's outvoted. It's like I guess this is what we're doing, but it's I don't know. Like, how do you feel like there needs to be a leaning towards teaching boys how to be husbands, or more or less just teaching boys how to be responsible? And because I've been thinking about this conversation, just we teach the emotional, like how to express yourself, so I guess that helps with the communication of speaking what you're feeling. Like, if you can do that, I think that's half the battle in a relationship. Like, you're not holding stuff in. But outside of that, like, do you feel like, do we need to do more as far as teaching being a husband as opposed to just being responsible?
Personally, I have to go back to the scripture.
Okay.
And it's first all about being whole.
Okay.
I want to teach you to be nice. I want to teach you to be
Right.
respectful. I want to teach you,
Right.
To be friendly. I want to teach you all of these virtues in life to be a whole person.
Right.
And then when you evolve into relationship building,
Mm-hmm.
I want to teach you to understand your role in a relationship.
Right.
That's what it is. I can't look at it as training a boy to be a husband, let alone training a girl to be a wife.
Right.
I want to teach you to be whole.
Right.
And if you're whole, you will understand the level of importance and criticality and the characteristics of being the person that you need to be in a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Here's what a husband looks like. Here's what a wife looks like. But first, it's here's what a man looks like. Here's what a woman looks like.
Right.
And even before that, here's what a believer looks like, being a whole person. And I think those are the things we get confused with, because when you talk about boys wrestling and girls with dolls, that's learned behavior.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Girls aren't coming out of the womb looking for Barbie or looking for a Cabbage Patch. I know I'm going way back.
Not Cabbage Patch.
You understand? Like that's learned behavior. For a girl to want to play with dolls, she had to see it.
Right.
For boys to want to wrestle, he had to see it.
Right.
So I think we have to be conscious of what seeds we're planting into our children, and not trying to conform them to what we believe, but conform them to what is the truth.
Okay.
And I'm like, I haven't mastered that. I'm saying, but if you're asking the question, what should we be doing? If I had a redo, a do-over,
right,
it's going to be more about, and you're looking blurry for some reason, man. It's going to be more about wholeness,
okay,
than it is role playing.
Right. I'm getting a bad signal. Can you hear me though?
I can hear you.
Okay. This episode is brought to you by Spectrum. Yep. I'm on Spectrum. Make your own assessment. Oh, I don't know. I may go back to AT&T. They seem a little better. Gosh. Okay, but anyway. I look fine. Appreciate that, baby. Appreciate that.
She's not talking about graphics. Don't nobody care that your husband is cute.
Thank you, baby. Oh, thank you, Mama Corey. Great conversation. Yes, indeed. So the getting the whole part. So we're teaching the whole instead of, you teaching them to stand on their own, to have the responsibility, to have the clarity. I guess the term of the year is self-awareness. Yes, I am. The self-awareness. I can't. The self-awareness and being able, I guess, to deal with self, and then get into a relationship and teach those principles when they come of age. And I guess
Right.
it's
Because think about it, relationship, like if I want you to be productive and valuable in a relationship,
right,
I'm going to teach you about covenant.
right, right,
And when you're learning about covenant, you're learning about agreement, you're learning about the commitment that you're making to the relationship.
right,
What is my contribution to the relationship? What is my contribution as a person? And what is my contribution as a man? What is my contribution as a husband? What is my contribution as a boyfriend? What is my contribution as a business partner? It's about the fundamental definition of agreement, of covenant,
right,
of coming into agreement with someone, right? That's what it's about. And then all I have to do is understand what my position is in the relationship. Now I can study the role that my position plays in the
right.
relationship, and then I commit to those things.
That makes sense. Okay.
But I struggle to commit to those things if I come into the relationship broken.
Right. Right. That's true. That's true. But okay, so in life, things happen. A lot of our experience dealing in any level of relationship can be tainted by an experience. Um, and if we are broken when we're young, how do we break out of that? Like as a parent, can you recognize the brokenness in your child in order for them to deal with it? Because like you sometimes when you're dealing with other people, you one set of, then when you're dealing with your child, you may look at it from a different perspective. But how do you have them deal with their brokenness? Because if they're coming to you, this is relationship number 4, and the conversation is the same. Like, baby, I know you may not want to hear this, but the the track record is pointing towards you. Like it's not working because you have this either view or thing that you want. That's a high bar that you want these folks to reach. That's not realistic, or based on something that happened. Like because you're broken. It's like I need them to be this way. Exposing that, like, and I don't know, like you have grown daughters. I don't know if you've ever had the opportunity to experience this kind of conversation, like, this you have this blinded to a situation, or this is stopping you, or this is what's hindering you. And if you've dealt with that, please, I would love you to share that.
Just thinking about it got me
so silly.
because I do have those conversations.
Right.
I've had those conversations where they've worked out amicably, and I've had those conversations where I end up with the 400 silent years between the Old and the New Testament.
Not the 400.
That's how quiet it gets, man. And it's a direct result of broken people raising broken people. And we talked about it earlier. It's that whole pattern of behavior. Children behave based on the surroundings, based on the culture, the environment that they were raised in. Where do you think the term "you just like your daddy" come from?
Right.
Or you like just like your mama, because you've seen that behavior, and then you see it repeated over and over. That's what I think Romans chapter 5 and 6 is dealing with, the breaking of the curse, recognizing that we no longer live under a curse, but we live under the repeated iniquity getting passed from generation to generation. It's behavior that gets passed down that we have to break the cycle of. That's what it is. And so if you're paying more attention, and what's amazing is, I have adult children and I have young adult children.
Right.
My young adult children have more insight than my older adult children, because I was more mature raising my younger children.
Right.
I had more insight. I had more experience. I was able to do more, put more into them. I'm not saying
Right.
that my younger are better than my older. I'm just saying that it was a different experience because I was
Definitely.
different. I had made
Right.
mistakes. I had learned from those mistakes. I had to learn to watch my behavior around my
Right.
younger children. I had to learn because of the experience I had with the older ones. I'm like, ooh, wow. Now I see this one at 25. Ooh,
Right.
I see. Ooh, now I see what I was doing, where I
Right.
was. And with the younger ones, I'm able to do better. When you know better, you do
Right.
better.
Do
And I
better.
see
Right.
that coming out of them. But it doesn't
Wow.
mean I don't have crazy conversations because you can't, there's nothing perfect. Life is what it is, and every experience is different. I was better, but I wasn't best.
Right.
I may have been at
Gotcha.
my best, but I was far from perfect because I still had
Wow.
broken areas in my life. And so
Right.
all I could do was try to increase the level of mitigation. So when I have
Right.
conversations with my daughters about guys, it comes from a perspective of, let me try to help. I'm going to continue to try to protect you as long as I can.
Right.
I'm
Right.
going to tell you everything. I'm going to give you everything I can give you so that
Right.
you are informed. I want you to make an informed decision, not an
Right.
ignorant decision.
Right. Hey, good morning.
That's what it's about.
Yes. Indeed. Okay. Indeed. I think that's probably the struggle, just being able to, I guess, get through and not getting the silence, but even when you get it, that means they're still listening. They've
hope.
heard you.
You
They've
hope.
heard you.
That's the hope.
They don't like what you said.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's you planted a seed that's kind of like sinking slow, but it got into the soil.
Lady and I were
think-
just having this conversation last night,
okay.
because we've had some dynamics happen with our children, with our daughters, and it has an impact on their lives. They just lost a really good friend of theirs, and they've been going through emotions and stuff, and losing my son a couple of years ago,
Right.
losing Brian and then losing someone who was really, really close to them again. Like we think it's a long time since we lost Brian, but it's like yesterday,
Right. Right.
and so to them, it's back to back.
Right.
And so we were talking last night about the restructure, the rebuilding, the recovery of this emotional hit, this impact of
Right.
loss. And
Right.
we had to come to the realization that we were really, really much older the first time we suffered loss of someone close to us. They've experienced it
The
at a
first
very
time.
young age.
Right.
Right.
Somebody close. Right. Right.
Yeah, because I mean, man, I was probably 40 before I lost somebody that was close to me, that I thought was close to me. I had never experienced it as a young child, or at least it never impacted me that way.
Gotcha.
And so to see them go through this says two things. One, they are very in touch with their feelings, which is the environment that they were brought up in, knowing how to,
Right.
express yourself and feeling whatever it is you're going to feel.
And not just holding.
And so we're talking about them coming out of this. And I was like, well, it's not for us to control them coming out. It's for us to make a way possible, make room for them to work through it.
Right.
So that they can come out, because they have to feel it.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So we talk to them about what they're feeling in hopes that it will encourage them to feel it, but to process through it.
Right.
And I think that's the difference in the communication. But the point I'm trying to make is we have to have confidence in what we put in them. When you say you hope they're listening,
Right.
You hope they heard it. And I'm like, that's the hope. That's the prayer.
Right.
We talked about having the confidence in that what we put in them will begin to show.
Right.
That's the hope. That's the confidence that you have to have. And you have to leave room to see it happen. You can't control it happening. You got to get out of the way and watch it evolve, watch it come out.
Right. Right.
I think we too often try to force the issue. You can get past that. Stop. You can't stay there. You keep telling them not to stay there instead of telling them, I understand how you feel.
Right. And letting them process.
Letting them process it. Yeah.
That's good. Sam says, I think most parents tend to try to teach their children the things they wish they knew, even if those things are age or personality appropriate.
That right there.
Right. Right.
That should be copied and pasted.
And Cheryl said, for some reason it help when they have friends that agree with you as the parent. That's when they have good friends, right? Right.
Yeah.
Right. Someone that
Yeah.
co-sign on what you're saying, like, your mom is right. Like, in your ear when you're away from the home, it's always a good reinforcement. Yeah, it's always rough when the child
But see, that speaks
is
to village,
yeah, that's true.
making sure that you are surrounding them with people that are on the same path,
Right.
you know,
Right. How do you? I
think the
mean,
same way.
yeah, and I guess that's the goal, right? Like for your kids to grow up in the same environment that you are raising them in, or your children to grow up in the same environment that you're raising them. And what I mean, like we have Solomon's Temple, right? And and if you get old school, like real old school, like the same church is the same school the same folks went to. So the same teachings and the same thought process is dribbling over in school, because it's like, your mama wouldn't like you doing that. Like, you got, kids in each other's ear, like, what we supposed to be doing, kind of like the ones that are like serious. And there's always those that rebel, but it's like you said, part of the same village, whereas now we're kind of so separate. Every part of our lives is so individualistic. Like
Yeah.
we have the church, our school is different, our gatherings are different. Let's see, said those are ones that get to come by the house.
Exactly.
Right. Exactly.
Exactly.
Exactly. And I think we've grown up so much. So now we're so disconnected. I think it's harder to pull together, right? Because you got folks that come over the house and their friends, you're looking like, ooh, okay, okay. Like, their talk, their speech, like, oh, that's your friend. Okay. That's your best friend. Oh, okay. Like you don't want to choose nobody. You're just like, oh, you around her all the time. Like, so he said the children know, right, who the parents would approve of. Right. Right. Yes. Yes. Oh, but that's key. And like you said, controlling, it's like you want to control who your kids around, you or your children are around. You want to control, their interactions. You want them to grow, you want them to learn, but it's like we all know the power of like influence and certain exposure to certain things too soon, or and things you didn't might not got chance to discuss with them. They get to see the good side of something bad first. I think is a big challenge. So yeah, I think that controlling your village is key to helping raising your children healthy, and getting them into the minds and having the right people around them. I mean, nothing is perfect, even with my friends and family, like growing up in my town and things of that nature. Everybody, so many different households, being raised differently. Like next door, my friend, he went to church. They went in Brooklyn. I don't, but it wasn't like a real big church environment like that. I had one who had no belief, like Israel. He grew up, I think, like atheists. They did a lot of different stuff. So yeah, it's always a mix of people, and you just want them to be around the right people that encourage them to do the best things. I truly believe that. But do you feel like have you had those friends? Because I've not experienced that yet. I mean, they've had a few friends come over, they were cool, but have you had the friends that came over that you just like, they had the question mark that you not worried, but was like, like how much exposure they're around, either the way they dressed or the way they talked. You're like, they're interesting. you know, that they paused or gave you concern.
I didn't. I have
Okay.
not experienced that, not to that extent. But I think it goes back to what Rollins was alluding to, that they know who would be approved
Right.
coming into the
Right.
house.
Right.
And that's because of what you have put into your children.
Right.
The only people that I hate are the boys who have a crush on my daughters.
Right.
I've never had a problem with anybody except the ones who have the nerve, the audacity to have a crush on my child and then come
Not
to
the
my house.
audacity, the unmitigated gall.
Yeah, because again, it's because we hope that we put. I'm joking. Well, I'm not joking, but I'm being funny. I ain't- we hope that we put the right things into our children so that they can make healthy decisions.
Right.
And we hope that the line of communication is open wide enough to where if we have an issue or if we have some concern about an individual, we can talk to our children about them.
Right.
It doesn't happen that easily. It's not always accepted. You know, this is my friend. You can't tell me who to choose as friends. I'm not, and that's the thing. Like, it's not up to us to choose friends for our children.
Right.
It's not up to us.
Right.
We can mitigate and control who they see, but we don't have the power to choose their friends. They will choose them anyway and just will exclude you from the relationship.
Right. Yeah. That's what you do.
That's real talk.
You're right. Yeah.
You know,
sure.
Ask your child why they have a different set of clothes in their book bag.
Right.
You want to find out. I'm saying that's just real. Check the phone.
Right.
For the text messages between the person you've never met.
Right. Right.
I mean, this is just real.
Yeah.
You can't pick their friends. You can only teach them to make constructive and healthy decisions when they're engaged in relationship building.
Yeah.
That's it. So the best thing you have is the line of communication with your child.
Right.
You know, what's that old adage? Do you know where your kids are? Remember that back?
Yep. It's 10 o'clock.
Yeah. It's 9 o'clock. Do you know where your kids are?
Kids are. Let's see. Rollins said it also helps that their friends see you as the parent and very supportive of your child. I love hearing when kids say your dad is here. He's the cool dad. And Rich said, Pastor, have you said you can't marry until they're 31?
61.
60. When I'm gone, they could do what they want to do. That is funny. So yeah, I think yeah, that is true though. You can't choose who your children are around. You just have to you hope for the best. What you put in them, comes out and is teaching them, and they're choosing the right friends to be around. But I think what you're right about, like if you're so hard, you make them hide, certain relationships, and that's where the danger lies, because you don't know what's being discussed. You don't know what they're talking about. At least if you're open and you see a friend, you get to not act crazy around the friend. You have an opportunity that your child will come to you about situations or conversations, that they question, that they already kind of know the answer. Hey, Dad, what you think of? You already know what I'm saying. Yeah. You already know how I feel about, but I think that the key is the open communication. I think my greatest, I won't say fear, my hope is that the lines of communication stay open, whether good, bad, or indifferent. Like, we may not like each other, but they at least continue to talk to me, you continue to have the conversations, and try not to get crazy, if they make a bad decision, so like you said before, so they'll come back to you, with another decision, we work it out. Like, come on, you got to make better decisions you shouldn't have chose, and blah, 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 blah. But I love you. Let's move forward. This is what we can do to fix it, things of that nature, and not shutting down communication. My goal is not to lose my kids, lose them. Everything stops, and they could stop while they're here. And they're just robots. I'm going to do what you tell me to do, but we're not going to talk. Just like your job is to feed me, my job is just to do what you ask me to do. I don't have to talk. I got my grades. I'm doing my thing. So yeah, I think just maintaining the casual conversation as well.
Brian Jr. said to me one day, he said, he talking about something, I can't remember what it was, and he said, I heard your voice in my head. I could hear you saying, seriously, and I've heard it from my daughters. Oh my God, Dad! And I'm like, oh, I can hear you now.
Right, right.
Yesterday we were. It's funny. Like my daughters put me in situations and they laugh about it. Like, what would Daddy do? What would Daddy say?
Right.
You know, we were coming out of the church after service yesterday,
Okay.
and Rachel wants to go to. She wants to get some food.
Okay.
She wants to go to an Italian restaurant and she's talking to her mother, hey, let's go get some Italian food to go and take it home and eat. And their mother asked me, I'm like, I don't feel like driving over there to Carrabba's. I'm ready to go home.
Right.
You know. So I go in the back of the church to grab something. I forgot to turn the lights off or something. And I'm coming out and Rachel says, hey, Dad, I'm on the phone calling the order in to Carrabba's.
Right.
What do you want? And I'm like, oh, okay. And then they all start laughing. And so the joke was, Dad already said no. He didn't want to go pick up any food.
Right.
But their mother said, I'll bet you if you act like you're on the phone with Carrabba's, your dad's going to be okay. He's going to go for it. He's going to do it. So that was the test. The test was, let's see if Dad caves if I act like I'm on the phone.
Right. Right.
So I caved. And they're like I told you he was going to cave. He's going to do it if you just act like you were doing it anyway. Wow. And I'm like, does that make me weak?
Question. Right. Did they just punk me?
Yeah. Just like that is so funny. You caved, and I'm like, that's not funny to me. You know. But the thing is, they know, they begin to know who you are, and they understand your boundaries. They know your character. They know, and so they know where to play and where not to mess around. Right. And that's what I think. And I'm saying that works for both sons and daughters when you have relationship, when you have communication, and they're paying attention.
Right.
Yeah, that's women. Absolutely. Right. They're gonna do it anyway.
We said predictable, so they got you, Pastor. Oh man.
They did. They did. So we ate Carrabba's yesterday. Because she wasn't even on the phone with him seriously. There was a joke. I know, but we still ended up going.
Oh man. Gotta love it. Oh, so yeah, and so like we start off talking about raising our boys to be husbands. I think the bottom line is to teach them, like I said, the principles, to be whole, and to try to grow up as stain free as possible, because a lot of those experiences can shape or even degrade your perspective, and then recognizing what those issues may be, so you can work through them with your children. I think that's one of the biggest. It seems like the biggest things when it comes to relationships. Most of your damage seems to come when you're younger. Like some people can go back. Like I'm like, man, you go way back. That damage is like deep. Like your mama did what? Or your dad said what? Because it takes that. Yeah, remember, Dad, you said, like, I said what?
Yeah.
And it can be constant. Like it's just and it sits on you. And I think just as parents, we have to recognize and be able to apologize if we've gone the wrong way or corrected the wrong way. Like, I didn't mean it like that. I was just trying to encourage you to do such and such. I didn't realize in doing so I was damaging another part of yourself. Yeah. And being able to have those conversations, because we get older, and it's crazy how things that happened 20, 30 years ago still sits on you. And it affects judgment. It affects your relationships, and you're like, I'm never going to let somebody do what my parents did to me, and it hurts. You could have this amazing relationship, but you just can't get past that thing that happened to you 30 years ago. And because they look like they are in that space, you can't continue with that relationship. And I think that's one of the biggest things as parents that we can kind of avoid when you have the conversation, being able to say, my bad, I apologize, because that's huge. That's huge. And I got no folks that have been in that space, because I've had those moments, and it's just I don't know. And as the adult, that may have the parent that you want to do something, you can't control it. But to all the parents out there, when your adult or pre-adult child comes to you with the pain, don't make an excuse. Have the conversation. Accept your responsibility and what you did, because it helps them move forward. Just have the conversation like, I didn't realize it affected you that way. I apologize for it hurting you, because you, as a parent, you might have done the same thing. Like, if I do it over again, I probably would have made the same decision. But I didn't realize how it affected you. I didn't realize the way I went about it, because sometimes, your children, you want them to lose weight, but you've called them fat all the time. It's like, that was my goal, was to push you, but I guess I kind of dented your self-esteem in the process. Like, you've lost the weight, but now you got this fat complex. So it's how we go about things, and how we talk to our children matter. And like I said, sometimes you gotta man up, woman up, and apologize to your kids. Like, my bad, I didn't realize that how I was going about trying to get you to do something was hurting you.
Yeah.
All right. So prayerfully, everybody got something out of this today. I know I have. It's a rough morning, but we made it. So listen, I appreciate you guys being here. Look forward to seeing you guys actually tonight at 8 p.m. Purpose for Forever. We'll be on. We'll be talking about loving yourself is not like loving someone else. Or is it? All
Say
right.
it again.
Loving yourself is not like loving yourself is not like loving someone else. Like, you love yourself one way, like,
Yeah.
And we'll get in. I'll talk to you a little bit off camera about
That's
it.
deep.
But
That's deep.
Deborah, appreciate you, Deborah. Listen, I'm gonna be in contact with you about the gentleman. I just want to say that on camera for you to hear me. So I haven't forgotten about you. And we'll chat. All right, let's see. Oh, Rollins says, show them you can be wrong, right? And apologizing to them shows them a lot.
Absolutely.
A lot. Yes, we need to change as African Americans, we have such a horrid past of just trying to cover stuff up and make excuses and not facing things. But we can dig into that conversation later. Let's see. Mama Corey says, it's been awesome. Someone was blessed. Awesome. Appreciate that, Mama Corey. All right, guys. So we see you tomorrow, same time, same channel. Always know we love you. God loves you more. Continue to stay safe, do the right thing. And we will see you tonight. If you're not connected, text LW 84576 and you will get that notification. All right. That's all. Be blessed. Keep pushing. Keep growing. And I'll see you in the AM. As always, we love you. Know that God loves you more. Stay safe. Thank you guys for rocking, hanging, being with us. Sharing is caring. All of my replay peoples that watch in the background that I know see this.